I never thought I'd see the day when Eleanor Hayes, the self-proclaimed guardian of our neighborhood's perfection, would be let out of her pristine two-story home in handcuffs. Her auburn hair, always styled just so, glinted under the late afternoon sun as two police officers guided her down her flagstone path. Neighbors lingered across the street, some fiddling with garden hoses, others not even pretending to hide their stares. "This is absurd." Eleanor's voice cut through the quiet cul-de-sac, sharp and indignant. "I was making a point. Do you even know who I am? I'm the HOA president." I stood by my driveway, arms crossed, my 2 trash cans missing for 3 days now back in place beside me. One officer glanced my way, giving a subtle nod. I returned it with a faint smile, feeling the weight of justice settling in. It all started 3 months ago when I moved into Willow Creek, a tidy little community with manicured lawns and rules for everything. I'm a nurse, working night shifts at the hospital, so my life's a bit of a juggling act. 12-hour shifts leave me drained, and I'd stumble home at dawn, crash for a few hours, then try to keep up with chores. Trash pickup was every Thursday morning, which usually worked fine. But when I'd pull an overnight shift from Wednesday into Thursday, things got tricky. The first time I forgot to drag my trash cans back until Thursday evening, a neon yellow notice was slapped on my front door. Violation, it read in bold. Section 8.3 of Willow Creek HOA bylaws. Refused containers must be removed from street VYEW within 4 hours of collection. Future violations will result in fines. It was signed Eleanor Hayes, HOA president, with her contact info in crisp print. I sighed, hauled the cans in, and figured I'd be more careful. I'd heard about overzealous HOAs, but how bad could it be over a few hours? I was dead wrong. 2 weeks later, after a brutal shift with back-to-back emergencies, I forgot the cans again until late afternoon. This time, it wasn't just a notice. An email landed in my inbox, complete with time-stamped photos of my trash can sitting curbside, like EVY Denke in a crime scene. Second violation documented. The message read, "A $50 fine has been assessed." I gritted my teeth, paid it, and decided to talk to Eleanor directly. Maybe I could explain my schedule and find some middle ground. She lived a few houses down in the grandest home on the block, her lawn flawless, her front door sporting a new wreath every month. "Hi, I'm Daniel, the new guy on Maple Lane," I said when she answered the door. "Can we talk about the trash can thing?" Eleanor sized me up, her lips pursed tight, her tin screaming expensive resorts, not yard work. "Oh, the new resident who can't follow basic rules," she said, her tone clipped. I explained my night shifts, suggesting maybe a neighbor could help out on tough days. She cut me off, adjusting her chunky gold necklace. "The rules apply to everyone, Daniel. I don't make them. I enforce them. Plenty of residents work odd hours and manage just fine. Set an alarm or hire help if you can't keep up." Then she handed me a 68-page printout of the HOA bylaws and suggested I study up before bothering her again. I try to play by the rules. I asked a kind neighbor, Mike, to pull my cans in when I was stuck at work, and I set phone reminders. But Eleanor seemed to have it out for me. I catch her strolling past my house, phone in hand, snapping photos, or idling in her sleek SUV across the street. The neighborhood group chat, which I joined hoping to make friends, turned into her personal soapbox. She'd post snarky reminders about certain new homeowners needing to learn community standards. A few neighbors messaged me privately, saying Eleanor had bullied others before, but most stayed quiet, too scared to cross her. Things hit a boiling point after I covered 3 straight night shifts for a sick coworker. I got home Thursday morning, crashed without a thought about the trash cans, and woke to pounding on my door at 4 p.m. There was Eleanor, clutching a folder and her phone, her eyes gleaming with VY Tory. "This is your 3rd violation this month," she announced. "The board will re-VYEW your case next week. I've got a full report on your noncompliance." Exhausted and fed up, I tried to reason with her. "Eleanor, I get the rules, but I'm a nurse. Sometimes my shifts," she cut me off. "Your job doesn't excuse you from your duties as a homeowner. Maybe Willow Creek isn't the place for someone with your lifestyle issues." I swallowed my anger, promising to bring the cans in and attend the board meeting. She smirked. Oh, d'accord. But my recommendations on fines? They're rarely questioned. The next day, Friday, I was off work folding laundry when I noticed something odd outside. My trash cans were gone. Not tipped over or misplaced, completely vanished from beside my garage. I stepped outside, confused, thinking maybe a freak wind had blown them away, but the air was still. Then I saw Eleanor across the street, walking her yappy little dog. When she spotted me looking around, she gave a smug wave and a smile that screamed trouble. That's when it clicked. Lucky for me, I'd installed security cameras after moving in, a holdover from city life. I pulled up the footage from the night before, and there she was, Eleanor, sneaking onto my property at midnight, glancing around like a cartoon VY lane, then wheeling my trash cans away, one by one, straight to her garage. My blood boiled, but I stayed calm. I called the non-emergency police line and laid it all out. The officer didn't brush it off. Taking someone's property without permission is theft, no matter what it is, he said. Got VY Deo? We'll look into it. 2 hours later, an officer named Officer Torres showed up, watched the footage, and shook his head. This is clear as day, he said, taking my statement. We'll go talk to Ms. Hayes and get your cans back. I stayed home, watching from my Lee VYing room as Torres knocked on Eleanor's door. She answered, and their talk got heated faster, gesturing wildly, pointing at my house, her voice rising. After 15 minutes, Torres returned to his car, made a call, and drove off without my cans. An hour later, he called me. Ms. Hayes won't return your property, he said, a hint of a chuckle in his voice. She's claiming it's an HOA matter, says she confiscated the cans as president. We told her that's not legal, but she's demanding a warrant to search her garage. I was stunned. So what now? I asked. Well, he said, she's right about the warrant, and we wouldn't usually bother for trash cans, but her attitude? Let's just say she wasn't cooperative. With that VY Deo and her refusal, my sergeant's on board. We'll get a warrant by tomorrow. Saturday morning, I was sipping coffee when 2 police cruisers pulled up to Eleanor's house. Neighbors started gathering, trying to look casual, but failing. I stepped outside, standing by my empty trash can spot, watching the drama unfold. The officers knocked, presented the warrant, and Eleanor's voice carried over. This is harassment. You're all out to get me because I'm the only one who cares about standards. When they walked out of her garage with my trash cans, she trailed behind, red-faced and furious. Those were illegally placed, she shouted. I was confiscating them per HOA rules. Officer Torres stayed calm. Ma'am, the HOA can't take personal property. You had chances to return these when we asked. Eleanor pointed at me, her voice shrill. I was teaching him about community standards. Torres didn't flinch. Well, you're about to learn about property laws. What happened next felt like a MOVYE. Eleanor kept arguing, refusing to step back as the officers tried to finish their report, even trying to block them from returning my cans. Finally, Torres had enough. Ma'am, hands behind your back. You're under arrest for petty theft and interfering with an officer. Eleanor's jaw dropped. Arrested? Over trash cans? Do you know what my house is worth? As they cuffed her and read her rights, the neighborhood went silent, watching the untouchable Eleanor Hayes get loaded into a police car. The fallout was swift. Eleanor faced charges for petty theft, trespassing, and obstruction. At her hearing, her fancy lawyer couldn't sway the judge, who wasn't impressed by her community standards excuse. She got slapped with a $500 fine, 40 hours of community care VYC, and a no-contact order to stay away from me. The next week, an emergency HOA meeting drew a record crowd. When a vote to remove Eleanor from the board passed unanimously, her confident smirk crumbled. I've been president for 7 years, she whispered, looking for allies and finding none. I've given everything to this place. For the first time, Eleanor Hayes had no words. Looking back, it's wild how far Eleanor took it, all to prove a point. But it's also a reminder, power trips can backfire, and sometimes justice shows up when you least expect it. Willow Creek feels lighter now, like we can all breathe a little easier without our clipboard looming. Still, It makes you wonder, what do you think? Was Eleanor just enforcing rules, or did she cross a line? Should HOAs have this much control over our lives? And what would you have done if someone stole your stuff to teach you a lesson? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're Team Justice, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you glued.